Oh boy. I think I want to do these guys because it's so interesting. This is 53 minutes. I don't know how far we're going to get into it or if we'll do the whole thing, but let me know how you guys feel about this. You know, if you want me to move on, let me know, but it's pretty interesting. So this video, you got another video of sovereign citizen types trying to explain themselves. This one's a little different, though, because these aren't sovereign citizens. These are what is known as Moorish citizens. They're a group of people in the United States of... How do I put this? They are African American, and they believe that the United States is secretly Morocco, and that black people are the actual indigenous population of the United States. And that chattel slavery... I'm not sure if they believe chattel slavery existed, but they don't think triangular trade existed. They don't think slaves were brought from Africa to the United States. They believe that, again, black people are the indigenous population of the United States that used to be called Morocco, and we've been lied to about history. They believe because that they are the indigenous population of the United States that they can claim sovereignty from the US government. So, I know that's confusing because it's not true, but let's take a look. This is going to be them trying to explain why they're not sovereign citizens, even though they believe a lot of the same sovereign citizen stuff.
Moorish News. I am your host, MD Lavelle, and welcome. I have a guest today.
Can I turn this up? This is very quiet.
Grand Sheik Lavelle of the Moorish Science Temple of America as a Body Politic.
Oh, it sounds like they turned it up. Okay.
Convention Week. Welcome, Grand Sheik.
Let me see if I can turn it up with this. Hold on. Can I do this and turn it up?
Islam. Praise Allah.
Oh, it's so good. I need you guys to see this.
And his care. Chapter 25.
Is that better?
Lavelle of the Moorish Science Temple of America as a Body Politic. We're in our Convention Week. Welcome, Grand Sheik.
Islam. Praise Allah. All praise due to Allah, the Lord, governor, cherisher, sustainer, ruler of the world. Islam.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Grand Sheik. Today, we're going to be bringing to you Moorish news, and we're going to discuss Moorish sovereignty versus Moorish sovereignty versus sovereign citizens. That's what we're going to be discussing today. We have a lot going on here in North America, and we want to make sure everybody get it straight. Moorish sovereignty versus sovereign citizens. To open up the show today, I'd like to read from our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali. Chapter 25, A Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. We are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brother, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity. And prefer not a stranger before thine own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank you all for joining us and thank my team, because there has to be teamwork in everything that we do, and this is why unity is so important. I'd like to thank my guest, Sheik Lavelle, for coming here, and I'd like to read something also from the Holy Bible, King James Version.
I'm going to skip past them reading scripture, because it's very dry, I know.
And be overseer or ruler, summer, and okay? How long will you apart like that need like an Iron Man. Holy Quran.
And the rule of the world. We give a hail and honors to all true and divine prophets. Truth to forward this evening. Complete spirit till an appointed time to create who is he down.
Thank you so much for that, Grand Sheik. For those of you who are just joining us, I am your host, Assistant Grand Sheikist to the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America. My guest is Grand Sheik Laville of the Moorish Science Temple of America as a body politic.
My favorite part of this interview is that she's a terrible interviewer and she will constantly talk over him. It's very funny to me.
And we are talking about Moorish news. This is Moorish news. And we're discussing Moorish sovereignty versus sovereign citizens. And understand, we are sovereign to the land, and this is what makes us have that Moorish sovereignty.
Let's take a look at what is this document? It's a badly photocopied something that apparently claims that they don't have to obey the law. Okay.
Understand this document here that was filed by Noble Jew Ali, August 1st, 1928 at 2:52 p.m., which is held in Cook County Recorder of Deeds office. This document is, in fact, what has made us have sovereignty to this land.
Okay, so they claim that in the 1920s, which is when the Moorish citizen movement began, that someone that they claim is a prophet filed something with, did she say the Cook County government? I don't remember, whatever county that was. And that document, therefore, because it was accepted by the government, I assume they just filed it like any document that gets, sent to them to be filed. And they're claiming that because they accepted this document, that means that they are in fact sovereign, and that everything that the guy said, up to and including the fact that, the United States is secretly Morocco. I don't know what they think about the real Morocco, because Morocco's like a real place, which is actually where the Fez thing comes from. We looked this up once. But either way, they believe that America was once Morocco, and that because of that, they don't have to listen to the government.
And what we're going to talk about today is how that sovereignty to this land exists, and in fact, what was it that caused Noble Jew Ali to file this document? First of all, coming from Havana, Cuba, and this is the reason why we're celebrating our 89th convention. Moorish sovereignty versus sovereign citizen, an introduction to the Moorish Americans, also Moorish American Muslims, and the Moorish Science Temple of America as a body politic. Who are the Moors? And who is Prophet Noble Jew Ali? What is the Moorish Science Temple of America? These are some of the things we're going to be discussing, and the Grand Sheik Laville is going to be going into. What are the birthrights of the Moorish Americans, etc.? And the Law of Nations and the Peace and Friendship Treaty between Morocco and the United States, 1836, which in fact still stands to this day. Creation of the Moorish Trust.
What they were referencing there is the United States. The first country to recognize the United States as its own country after the Declaration of Independence was Morocco. So the United States, or it was early on, I guess I don't know if they were the first ones, but anyway, they ended up signing this treaty with the actual Morocco, which is a country in sort of northwest Africa, if you're not familiar. And they had a treaty that was both a friendship treaty and also included stuff about shipping routes, because, of course, triangular trade was very much still a thing going on at the time. And it was in order to deal with, I think, some piracy or something, basically how they were going to handle the shipping routes between Morocco and the United States. Moorish citizens will take this document and say, see, they signed a treaty with Morocco. Why would they be signing a treaty with a country in northern Africa? Morocco must be the United States secretly. Now, I understand the way that I explained that doesn't make sense, but I'm explaining it the best I can because it doesn't make sense. So I can't explain it in a way that makes sense because it just doesn't, okay? You just gotta kind of accept that this is what they believe and move on from there.
body politic in 1928. We're going to go into that creation and how it came about.
What do they think of the Native Americans? It depends. I've seen different opinions on it, but I've seen up to and including certain Moorish citizens believing that Native Americans are actually black. So I've seen like Moorish citizens wearing like stereotypical Native American headdresses and stuff because they believe that their cultures are one and the same. I've seen people who think they're like a slightly different group, but like they're related in some way. I think it just depends on who you're talking to.
We're going to talk a little bit about Moorish civics with the Illinois court systems. Grand Sheik, Moorish civics within the Illinois court systems. We're going to also be covering that subject briefly. Now, Grand Sheik, let's go into who are the Moors. We understand the Moorish Americans are the descendants of Moroccans born here in America. Indeed, we are Moors. Can you go into that briefly, Grand Sheik, please?
Islam, according to all true and divine records, according to the human race, there is no such thing as Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians. When we talk about the secret or the great Masonic secret, what our people need to understand is that you who refer to yourself as so-called black, Negro, colored, African Americans, Coon, Shine, Afro-American, whatever you decide to call yourself next week, you are the big secret, you are the great secret, you are the hub that everything is connected to. The Moors are those who are indigenous to this land. Now, we were given this information in the public school system about the Indian being, or the Native American.
And that cherry tree line, George Washington.
Well, this is all part of the mythos. Now, that's not to say that there were not some of them did resemble and have the reddish skin and the long stringy hair, but for the most part, most of the people that were here indigenous to this land look just like you and I, even darker skin. And a lot of people that identify with being so-called Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, they will tell you in 2 seconds, oh, my grandmother was Cherokee or Blackfoot.
Absolutely.
And these are the same people.
Okay, but that's because, like, a lot of people have somewhere in their family tree, you know, someone who married, like someone who's Native American, like, especially in certain areas of the country. My family has that. I'm like 1/32nd or 1/16th Native American. I don't identify as such because, you know, it's such a small amount. I'm a white person. But, like, a lot of people have that somewhere in their family tree. No one is, like, I don't know what you would even call it, racially pure, some sort of, like, you know, bullshit, because that kind of thing doesn't exist. Like, in the United States, if your family's been here for centuries, one way or another, there's a good chance somewhere in your family tree there might be some, you know, people who are Native American. That's not uncommon. That doesn't mean that, like, all, like, them claiming that because they know some people who are black and have some Native American in their family tree, claiming that that means that all black people are Native Americans would be like me saying I have like 1/16th Native American, you know, whatever in my family tree, therefore all white people are Native American. Like, it makes no sense. That's not how it works. Didn't one of your ancestors buy a native woman for a fur pelt or something? There was an exchange of fur, yes. They were a fur trader, and there was, I don't know if it was like a straight up purchase or if it was like a dowry type situation, but either way, there were some furs traded, to my knowledge, in my family tree. That's what I'm talking about.
But they were not identified as Negroes, blacks, and colored, so that's why there was a cutoff. And you see, when you go like to go into like a storyline like Roots, you'll see where they took the children and they separated them from their parents. So the traditions and the thoughts of the true history was not passed down.
So I also have a French-Canadian fur trader too. They were a fur trader. I don't know if they were French. I'd have to look. My grandparents actually have like a family history thing that's been written out that people in my family have been adding to for quite a while. I'd have to look at it. I've never actually taken a look. I just know what they've told me about it.
So this is the situation. You had the Kunta Kinte to Toby syndrome.
And the whole story was
That's a reference to Roots, which was a book and movie in the TV movie in like the 70s. Starred LeVar Burton and then a bunch of other people. It's sort of an ensemble cast that basically tracked the real life story of a family from being, you know, kidnapped and stolen from Africa into slavery, and then the family history up to the writer of the book, who basically tracked back the family lineage to then. It's very interesting.
built on trying to get this young man to denounce his true name, take on another name, just like that situation with They Live, how this man nearly beat his friend to death to get him just to see the truth. And after beating him nearly to death, I'm sure they both had to go to the emergency room once he put the glasses on and he discovered this whole new different world.
Oh, she's referencing... She's referencing the John Carpenter film, They Live, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper of wrestling fame. That's not a reference I expected, but yeah, sure.
And now he's online and he can hardly function because of the truth, which has him so caught up. And you're talking about trying to put this information into the heads of millions and millions and millions of people, knowing that the Chicago Public Schools system,
in this video that's supposed to be a serious dissection of like their belief systems that are borderline like spiritual to them and they're connected to their religious beliefs, she referenced a movie where the main character goes into a bank with a shotgun and says, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum and I'm all out of gum." Beautiful.
System is not going to assist. What can you say and what do you say, Grand Sheik, to a nation of people now that has on every level obtained wealth, from entertainment, sports, to you name it?
I say that if you know, on the international realm, it's just like a WWF match. It's all fakery. It's set up. And behind the scenes, what you have is a situation where you have a nation of people that are supposed to represent, and we're going to get into this later on, the sovereign aspect of the other part of the peace and friendship treaty between the U.S. and Morocco. So since the parties represent, there has to be parties representative on both sides. We have seen the United States being represented properly, but what about the Moors?
Morocco, they were people, the government of Morocco were the people on that side of the agreement. Do they not know Morocco's like a real place in Africa? Like it's not like when they ask who were the, do they not know? Do they legitimately not know, like, Morocco exists. It's a real thing. You could go there if you have money. I understand that's, but like you can look. It's like a country. It's next to Algeria. Look at that. You can see Spain right there. It's guys.
There has to be, both sides have to be represented.
We have to have
properly
balance in a situation
with regards to how things are supposed to work within the nations of the earth. So those who are considered as...
Have Jake and I done a review of They Live? No.
Negroes, black people, colored folks, they are not truly being received and respected as a nation of people. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much you acquire. Money does not make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man in a nation. We saw a situation where Brother Bill Cosby accepted to, and he is
megastar.
Right, and he's most noteworthy for having plenty of finance.
Yes, he is. And all he wanted to do was purchase a team.
No, he wanted to purchase a media outlet.
A media outlet, which is what's needed for our people so greatly. And this man, not only did he lose,
and this is, and because, so forget the fact that he had attained such a high status where he's a household name. the fact is that he had reached a level where he could, a ceiling where he could not go past that, because we're talking about the truthful identity and those who are the gatekeepers with regards to.
This came out in October 2017. When did Bill Cosby get accused? I know there have been rumors for a long time. June 2017 was Cosby's first trial. Okay, so no, at this point it was already, like, known that Cosby was a creep. And they're like, oh no. Oh, did they think he was set up because he's, black? Oh no.
Putting certain information out, going back to the world
They put
stage
that
again.
1857 Dred Scott situation on this brother's head, Brother Bill Cosby. And before Brother Dick Gregory left here, he mentioned that that man, as wealthy and rich as he is, they took his son from him. Dick Gregory was not afraid to mention it. They took his son. We have a lot of great people out here that is not afraid to stand up and speak the truth. Our sister, brother, may he rest in peace, a shade to Dick Gregory, because he spoke truth fearlessly. And also our sister, the ISIS paper, Dr.
How old is the video? This is from October 2017.
Cress Welsing.
And this is like their channel. It's not a re-upload.
She also spoke truth, the keys to the colors. She talked about how the fears of this white supremacy is so
No, it's not late 80s public access. She has a smartphone in her hand. This is from 2017. This was posted to YouTube.
petrified. They are so petrified of the fact that we are who we are that they will do anything to keep the truth and to block us, but not to step away from the fact that even so, Bill Cosby's name was dragged through the mud, and no one, as honorable as this man is, stood up. Well, I'm not going to say no one. He did have people to stand up. The sister from the show, she stood up. And
okay, so they know Bill Cosby is being accused of what he was, he was found guilty, right? If I remember correctly, he was. Either way, yeah, they're going to bat for Bill Cosby. Probably not the best move.
A lot of people felt him, but because we are all Moors, even though we are in our respective positions of wealth, we're supposed to come to one another's rescue, because that Holy Covenant said, if your brother is in trouble, assist him. So everyone out there in Hollywood that knows that Bill Cosby is a great man, he's a man of honor, he's a man standing up for truth, the brother should have had a whole lot of support in assisting Dick
Well, let's
Gregory.
get back to the secret, the big
Bill
secret.
Cosby, Dick Gregory,
Most of our
may he
people
rest in peace.
who are
He
notable.
lost his son
Hold
as a
on,
result
let's
of
get
that.
back to the subject matter, Sheikah.
The subject matter.
The
Let's
subject
not get
matter
away from
goes
the
back
subject
to the
matter.
secret that our people are being, the notion that our people are not Moors, or they don't know that they're Moors. Those people that are famous, most of these people are aware of the fact that we are Moors.
Oh,
okay?
yeah,
Your Jesse
in fact.
Jacksons, your Farrakhan's, and
Well, they made
your,
the decision.
Al Sharptons,
Well, they do
and
say so-called black
people that
now.
are
Give them
notable.
credit where credit is
People
due.
who have.
But we need you to
people
come with the
who
truth
are
and support
of
the
note
people now.
have this information.
Yes,
and
they
this
do.
is an information that is known by certain adepts within the realm of Freemasonry. So they are aware of the true identity of us as a people. And this is also part of the reason why they wear the fez in secrecy, the Shriners and what have you.
Well, National
Many of
Treasures
these
is a
people,
movie.
hold on, let
and
me get to the point.
Go
Many
right
of
ahead.
these people,
Pardon me.
these Europeans, are sitting in our seats as proxy, wearing fezzes with rhinestones on it. And the reason why they're able to wear that fez is because they've been given certain secrets to hold as proxy, but only as long as we maintain a certain ignorance. But now we're coming out of a long slumbering sleep. So this is why the identity becomes so much of an issue. But you were going back to let's get back to the point.
Okay, who is Noble Jew Ali? Because
Islam.
right now we understand that Prophet Noble Jew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America as a body politic, and as such is one of the founding fathers. Okay, let's understand who the real founding fathers are, and let's give them their credit. Okay,
Islam.
because Marcus Garvey being another founding father of our Moorish nation. And we say founding father as I open up the floor to the Grand Sheikh to express founding father, because we do understand that we do have other founding fathers, but you can only be a founding father of your nation. You understand, and we understand
Islam.
how to use that term.
The Prophet Noble Ali, the love thought made manifest, is the day star from on high, who was brought to teach us the truth about our nationality and birthrights, also to
What makes
restore.
him the founding father?
Well,
Which
the
what makes
fact
him
that the fact that you
She's a terrible interviewer. She just, like, talks over him before he gets his entire point out. And I understand you need to do that sometimes when you're, like, guiding a show. If you're a host, sometimes you need to cut someone off or move them on to a different point. But, like, every time, she is just talking over him. It's like, why are you asking him the question if you're not going to let him finish his thought?
we had to really literally be put back on the map. As Moorish Americans, this is a term that does not exist until the advent of the Prophet Noble Ali. So this is part of the reason why the Prophet Noble Ali made statements like it is with him being at the head, I'm paraphrasing, that we would be recognized. And he is also putting in work. He is also still issuing charters. So
And that is a charter.
when you
and
look up
that's proof.
properly what it is, and then according to research, study, and investigation, you will see that only he has the authority to issue charters. And it would have to be something that was signed by him. So basically, the Prophet Noble Ali he represents the sovereign aspect of our nation. And he was also recognized as the Islamic prince at the Pan American Conference in Havana, Cuba, where he addressed the assemblage of the peoples and presenting the true and divine records, according to all true and divine records, that there is no Negroes, colored folks, black people, according to the human race. And the fact that the title to it, the vast estate, had been claimed, and the only thing that makes, well, not the only thing, but one of the things that makes a government solvent as well as sovereign is having access to the land. So we have to understand part of the provisions that were left for us within the birthrights is having access
to the land.
To the land.
And this
so
gives
that
us
is a
that
certificate
access.
Okay. In terms of sovereignty, yes, being able to procure and hold land is something that is pretty important in being able to claim that you are a sovereign nation, right? The United States wouldn't be a very good nation if it couldn't, like, say, okay, this is property and this is, like, protected by the United States, right? I understand the thought, right? But writing a document out and filing it somewhere doesn't automatically give you rights to land just because in that document you claim that you have a right to that land. That's not how it works.
Well, see, we have
This
to understand
title.
properly what that is. That is a certificate of title to our title
Absolutely.
deed, which is
The
found
title deed is in chapter
within-
47.
Exactly.
And
within
both of
chapter
these together
47.
is what gives us title to the land, and this is what makes us have the sovereignty that we possess as a nation of people, which is what was exercised long before any of us was born, 1928. This is the reason this man was sent, our holy and divine prophet, with this information.
One of the
This is
reasons.
one of the greatest reasons he was sent. This is the reason I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is the birthright. This is
Well,
the
Islam,
vast estate
let's be clear,
that was given to the
Sheikhs,
Moors.
because when you joined, you were not aware of the fact
Well, I
that
was
that
not aware of
existed.
this,
So
of course,
let
but
us
when
be
I
clear,
say
but it was the holy
this is
zeal.
nation pride.
This is the
This
holy.
is the
It was
pride
holy
that gave me
zeal
that zeal.
that caused you to join the Moorish Science Temple
and
of
cling
America.
to the principles, because this here is part of the nation pride.
That
having
represents a tangible
knowledge.
asset
Oh my
to
god,
what
the talking over each other is getting so bad. This is like a Tim and Eric sketch gone really bad.
has been left and entrusted to us as a
As
nation
a vast
of people.
estate, absolutely.
So-
what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? What is the Moorish Science Temple of America? And according to the rules and usages of such
The
Moorish Science Temple of America,
is a body
this is
politic that
a
was
religious
set up,
corporate
a religious corporate body,
body
politic
politic set up
as
as a
to operate.
constitutional theocratic monarchy for the organization and nationalization of the Moorish people.
Like, why does she ask him if she just wants to say it? Just say it. If you want to say it, say it. Don't ask him to define it, and then you talk over him.
In addition to that, Grand Sheik, you can also discuss what else the Moorish Science Temple of America does, because it nationalizes our people. If you refer to yourself as Negro, Black, Colored, or African American, the Moorish Science Temple of America has been set up to return you your nationality, which is in fact Moorish American Muslim. We refer to ourselves as Moorish American. We are Moorish Muslims here in North America, and make no mistake, this is the present Moroccan Empire. We want to talk about now, Grand Sheik, what are the birthrights of the Moorish Americans, because you have, not only did the Prophet come to return us our vast estate, which includes other Muslims, and I'll be reading their names before the show is over. We also was returning our birthrights.
The birthrights, Islam, Sheik, is the birthrights pertain to accessing the land.
Free access to the land and all of its uses and resources as a matter of right by virtue
He
of...
looks so annoyed. Like, all the nonsense aside, how frustrating must it be to be asked to come in to talk about this, and then she just talks over you for an hour?
being Moorish, as well as being indigenous to the Americas.
Well, let's be clear. When we deal with the tangible assets, the Constitution for the United States of America makes a reference to inalienable rights. So those correspond to rights that cannot be transferred, bought, or sold away.
Okay.
And this is part of the reason why the Prophet Noble Ali made a reference to the Constitution for the United States of America being one of the greatest documents of all time. Because the Constitution was created to be a barrier to government. It was set up to be a permissive document to corporations and entities that had been receiving permission. So we have to understand, like, one of the individuals that they claim is a founding father, George Washington, he was actually listed on the record as paying tribute to the Sultan bin Abdullah at that time, Sultan bin Abdullah.
So it's possible, is it possible to pay tribute and be a founding father?
Well,
Yes, because what they're talking about is George Washington paying tribute to a foreign dignitary. That's not unreasonable. We see this still today with presidents, right? You know, a world leader comes, you pay tribute. You say, oh, thank you for coming. You know, oh, we brought you a gift, you know. Exchange gifts, have a nice dinner, talk about affairs of state. That's just like, you know, part of geopolitics is dealing with other foreign dignitaries. That doesn't make you not the president, doesn't make you not one of the founding fathers if you do that.
what I'm saying is it would be impossible for him to be a founding father proper because he comes from Europe or England.
That makes
British
a
property.
lot of sense.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? What?
A heavenly lot of sense.
So,
So what, I mean, how does being Moorish give?
That would be what makes him a founding father, right? He came and he's like, hey, guys, let's separate from England. And then a bunch of other rich people were like, yeah, let's do that. And then they did that. And then they call those people the founding fathers. What are you talking about?
You access to this land.
well, you know, being indigenous means that you come with the land.
Okay,
So
so
there's a
why are
covenant.
so many of the people poor? I'm sure
It's
they,
a
they're probably
legacy. It's a
wondering.
birthright. Well, it comes. See, this is how you access the birthrights, through having a proper identity that you are who you are. Because see, when we transferred rights to property, and we didn't, that wasn't the way we dealt with things as far as how real estate
I'm skipping ahead.
Mortgage
would transfer
schemes that's
over.
going on here.
There- These a lot of these individuals, or most of them, come from a European descent, and this is a rebellious attitude towards law and order. So they have taken the notion that they'll use the Constitution, or that the Constitution
Does
gives
not
them
apply to them?
license. No, that the Constitution gives them license to be sovereigns, or there's a ideology that the Constitution acknowledges so-called free white persons as sovereign individuals.
And we're
They're trying to draw a distinction at this point between themselves and sovereign citizens.
sovereignty coming with the land,
But
and that's a
let me
total
explain.
different thing.
Let me explain. We represent the people who originally gave them the authorization to operate as
And
a
now,
government, as
so
a
we let them
usufruct,
in on our
form
land,
of
and
government.
now they're turned on us, calling us sovereign
Well,
citizens.
no. See, here's
These
the
are the
thing.
same people that we let in.
Here's the thing. The trick has been utilized as a tool of propaganda. This is why the prophet spoke about having our media and destroying the annual avalanche of lies.
Well,
Because
let's talk about the law of nations and the peace and friendship treaty, because that's going to tie into it, between Morocco and the United States of 1836. Because that Morocco Treaty of 1836, that peace and friendship treaty still stands between Morocco and the United States of America.
Yes, again, the Morocco in Africa, not the imaginary Morocco that you think exists in North America.
And we are here per our ancestors. We are Moroccans, okay? Descendants of Moroccans. So that makes us
born in
Moroccans.
Americas.
We're born in America. So how dare you call us sovereign citizens when we come with the land and we have sovereignty. So this needs to be explained to the courts here in North America so that they can respect the Moors, the true people which are indigenous to this land, which gave them permission. The Peace and Friendship Treaty between Morocco and the United States of 1836 still being enforced.
We had the ability to affect things and to, if in other words, if you didn't pay taxes, then you didn't eat. You see, so a lot of what we're going through is a result of karmic activity, what results to us straying after strange gods who we knew nothing of. So we all didn't go to sleep at the same time. So we're all not going to wake up at the same time. So it becomes an issue. In order for us to get back to our Moorish sovereignty, our people have to become aware of what it actually is and where it actually lies and what it represents for us.
Which brings us to
So
Moorish civics.
let me go into
within.
something so that I can explain where we actually find sovereignty within our literature, so that people can
He's finally getting like, okay, let me explain.
be clear for
Please
once
read
and
that,
for all.
because,
This is the
that's
divine
necessary.
instructions from the Holy Prophet, the Holy Koran, the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is chapter 29, Magistrate and Subject. Now, check this out. This is to refute all and disclaim all of the naysayers and the propaganda. And it states, O thou, the favorite of heaven, whom the sons of men, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power and set as a ruler over themselves, consider the ends and the importance of their trust, far more than the dignity and height of thy station.
Thank you so much for that, Grand Sheik, and I wish it could stop and cease and desist from referring to us as sovereign citizens. It is a disrespect to us as a nation of people. It is a dishonor to our ancestors, and it should not take place, and we are working on that as an administrative. One of the jobs of our administration is to take it as far as we need to take it so it can be corrected in the court systems throughout the state first, and then take it to the UN, which is where things are discussed when it comes to religious discrimination. Yes,
According
sir.
to the laws of nation, it is your responsibility as a nation to step up to the plate.
Boards from
Okay, I've had enough of this. I know this is getting dry. I'm very sorry. I'll get to the bits in a sec. I want to show them the pyramid headgear, and then I'll move on and do some bits messages. Interesting, though. I do find it very interesting that still, you know, in this, the year of our Lord 2020, although this is in 2017, but they're still, you know, doing this stuff. I do wonder how they're able to hold on to this belief, but then again, we deal with flat earthers on Tinfoil Tuesday, so it's not that surprising. Let's take a look at the pyramid headgear. If you liked the headgear that she was wearing, let's take a look. You can buy fashionable pyramid headgear for yourself, okay? Let's take a look. Pyramids. For the low, low price of $99, you can get the cheapest adult-size pyramid. You can get a fire dome for $150. You can get a miniature pyradome for your kids for $49. You can get a silver power dome for $275. But that one's sold out, so you're going to have to get on back order. The gold one is $275 as well. It's the same price as the silver, and that's a great deal. The Chrysilla Dome is $1,250. The Chrysilla Dome. The Chrysilla Dome is a lightly diamond-dusted 9-inch titanium pyramid, the super headgear pyramid for the advanced. The Chrysilla Dome resonates with iron atom in the hemoglobin. It sets up a vibration that begins to unclog the delicate capillaries, which helps reverse aging. Oh no. You could get a vitamin one, okay? Vitamin D. The Vitamid. Oh, sorry, it's the Vitamid. The Vitamid is a 12-inch steel household pyramid that is 24-karat gold-plated. The Vitamid is used to treat and energize water, other beverages, preserve fruits and vegetables longer than normal, and also promotes healthy plant growth. Place the Vitamid over fruits or vegetables to preserve them from going bad. You make a wise and intelligent investment anytime you spend the extra dollars it takes to get fresh organic fruits and vegetables, but sometimes we just don't eat them as fast as we'd hoped, or we're not sure how to properly and safely preserve our organic produce. Using Pyridine's pyramids, not only can you preserve your nutrient-dense and precious fruits and veggies, but you can put virtually any organic material under the pyramid to increase its pH level, alkalinity, like water and fruit juices. The fruit juices are also sweeter and more full of flavor too. Animals love it too! Ships in 2 to 5 business days. Buy now, pay later? Oh no. I assume you can get a loan. That's not all, though. Okay? They also have nuclear receptors. This one costs up to $5,500. This one's $700, and you can change the gem in it. I don't know what they mean by nuclear receptors, but they also sell quantum receptors, which I guess absorb time or something. Holographic projectors. They have standalone projectors, whatever that means. Golden ratio jewelry. This necklace is actually kind of cool, just like as a necklace, but it's the only not ugly piece of jewelry I've seen so far on the website. Gemstones, you can just buy pyramids. We already looked at the pyramids. Vitamins and superfood. Ooh, Pyridine packs. Oh, yeah. Give me this $129 pyramid pack, chat. So, I guess if you want to waste money, Pyridine is the woo-woo bullshit website for you. Funny. Anyway.